Okay, let's jump right into this explainer on the invisible threat of IPv6 reconnaissance and hidden surfaces. Today we're looking at a fascinating and honestly a pretty urgent section of a tutorial by Virtualization Options LLC. They're a Colorado-based tech research and advisory group, and we are specifically zooming in on Chapter 7 of their 10-part series, IPv6 Security, Vulnerabilities, Misconfigurations, and Mitigations. Now, since you're already network engineers and security folks, we're skipping the IPv4 basics and jumping straight into the completely hidden vulnerabilities of IPv6 reconnaissance. If you think your meticulously crafted IPv4 perimeter has your network totally locked down, well, the invisible reconnaissance we're about to explore is absolutely going to change your mind.
So, if an attacker moved laterally across your network right now using IPv6, would your CM even see it? Seriously, take a second to really think about your current login capabilities. You might have these world-class IPv4 perimeter defenses, perfectly configured firewalls, highly tuned intrusion detection systems, but IPv6, it operates completely independently. We are talking about an entirely parallel protocol stack. And as Chapter 7 of our source material points out, your IPv4 defenses do absolutely nothing to automatically protect your IPv6 traffic. It's an independent architecture running right underneath your existing security apparatus.
Let's talk about the address space myth. Specifically, the idea that attackers have adapted to IPv6's massive size and the security by obscurity is officially dead. There's this pervasive myth in the networking world that the sheer, mind-boggling size of the IPv6 address space is like a natural defense against scanning, right? The old idea was, well, finding an active host in an IPv6 subnet is mathematically impossible for an attacker. But the reality? Security by obscurity is completely dead here. Relying on the size of the IPv6 address space for security is basically like hiding your house keys under a slightly larger doormat. The source material emphasizes that this massive address space just creates a false sense of security. Attackers aren't deterred at all. They've already updated their recon techniques to map your networks and find you anyway. We really need to look at intent versus reality. Your administrator intent might be setting IPv6 defaults, but your network reality is containers communicating over unfirewalled link local IPv6. This clash between what you want and what's actually happening creates a dangerous protocol-level shadow IT. Let's say an admin explicitly intends to disable IPv6. They slap the command line flag --IPv6 equals false on a container runtime and call it a day. But the network reality tells a totally different story. Even with that flag set, interfaces often just remain active. Containers can, and honestly routinely do, communicate with other hosts on the local network over link local IPv6 addresses. And this happens completely unintentionally, crucially bypassing your firewalls entirely. Let's break down the hidden attack surfaces. Containers and VMs acquiring IPv6 addresses via Slack, unnoticed. Cloud workloads in AWS, Azure, and GCP receiving IPv6 by default. And factory default network devices like switches, APs, and printers coming with active IPv6 out of the box. So this hidden threat isn't just theoretical. It's actively expanding your attack surface into entirely unmonitored areas. First, you've got containers and VMs picking up those addresses via Slack, stateless address auto-configuration completely unnoticed by your admins. Then you step into the cloud. Workloads up there are often getting IPv6 addresses by default depending on how things are spun up. And finally, you can't forget the physical layer. Basic factory default network devices usually have IPv6 enabled right on day one. You are literally surrounded by active, unmanaged IPv6 interfaces. Now, let's define FE80:10 or link local. This is the specific IPv6 address space where traffic is rarely logged, providing a dark zone for NDP, RA spoofing, and data attacks. The real epicenter of this danger lies right here. Every single IPv6-enabled interface automatically assigns itself one of these addresses. But here's the terrifying part that the tutorial highlights. This traffic is rarely logged, even on devices that natively support IPv6 logging. It creates a massive, completely unmonitored dark zone right on your local network. And inside that dark zone, attackers can operate with absolute impunity. They can execute neighbor discovery protocol attacks, router advertisement spoofing, duplicate address detection attacks, all while completely bypassing your standard perimeter defenses.
As you'll see represented here, firewall and router logs capturing IPv4 flows omit IPv6 entirely, creating massive forensic blind spots. This dark zone translates to a huge operational nightmare. If you're relying on firewall and router logs that are only tuned to capture IPv4 flows, you are looking at a dashboard that is telling you a half-truth. Practically speaking, for your security team, a major malicious incident involving IPv6 lateral movement could go completely undetected. I mean, imagine trying to conduct a post-breach forensic investigation or trying to complete a compliance report when the actual attack traffic simply wasn't recorded. It is exactly like trying to solve a crime where all the security cameras were pointed at the wrong wall.
Moving on to verification and remediation. You need to verify your login configuration explicitly includes IPv6. Test by generating known IPv6 traffic and confirming it in your logs. And update your log retention policies and SIM ingestion pipelines. We can't just leave you with bad news, right? Eliminating this blind spot requires a very clear 3-step action plan. Step 1. You absolutely must verify that your login configuration explicitly includes IPv6. Do not assume parity with your IPv4 setup just because it's running on the same physical device. Step 2. You've got to actually test it. Actively generate known IPv6 traffic on your network and confirm, with your own eyes, that it pops up in your logs. And finally, Step 3 requires urgently updating your log retention policies and your SIM ingestion pipelines to actually handle this new data. You have to bring IPv6 into the light.
Here is a crucial NSA recommendation. Ensure all network administrators have received proper IPv6 training and education before administering IPv6 networks, not after deployment. You see, fixing the technology is only half the battle. To systematically fix this problem, we need to talk about the human element. The tutorial strongly highlights this point. The root cause of these hidden vulnerabilities isn't necessarily broken tech, right? It's a lack of operational maturity. Comprehensive IPv6 training has to be a mandatory prerequisite for your security and network staff, not some afterthought once the hardware is already racked, running, and exposed.
Which brings us to our final question. Since IPv6 is already running on your hardware, is your team trained to secure it today, or is your network exposed to the invisible threat? Ultimately, this leaves you with a critical question to ask your organization right now. Since IPv6 is already running by default on your hardware today, is your team actually trained to secure it, or are you actively exposed? We're going to leave you with that final challenge. Don't wait for a major security incident to force your hand. Audit your environment immediately. Uncover those hidden, unmonitored interfaces, and ensure your team has the specialized knowledge they need to defend against what they currently cannot see. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and we will see you next time.